What's up, everyone? Mr. NoobTube Gamer. Today we're playing Titanfall 2 in 2024, 8 years later. Yeah, the game is in a much better place now than it was for a long time because for a while the game had a serious hacking problem, especially on PC. There were cheaters just all over the place, and yeah, it was rough for a while, but the servers actually have been fixed. Last year in 2023, there was an update that actually fixed a whole lot of problems that the game had, and ever since, the game has been mostly hacker free, which is great because I'm sure you've all heard the stories about Titanfall 2 and how broken it's been in recent years and how it's practically unplayable. Well, you do not have to worry about that anymore. That has been solved, and there are a lot of players. There is a shit ton of players in 2024. So much so that you can actually get into games that aren't just attrition. There's multiple game modes that you can play. You can play Pilot versus Pilot, Titan versus Titan. There's actually a wide variety of modes that you can play, and it doesn't matter what time of day either. You're always going to find someone online, and you'll get into a match almost instantly. It's impressive that the game still is as popular as it is, despite how it pretty much failed when it came out, because it was sandwiched in between the releases of Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, two games that made a lot more money than Titanfall 2 did, and because, they had all that competition, Titanfall was a less established franchise, so yeah, they didn't make a lot of money off of Titanfall 2 initially, but over the years they have definitely made their money because a lot of brand new players have bought it and have loved it. And that's why my hopes for a sequel, my hopes for Titanfall 3 are a lot higher than they've probably ever been just because of how much Titanfall 2 has been popping lately. I still think that they're probably making way too much money off of Apex Legends to even think about making Titanfall 3, but who knows, right? Anything can happen in the gaming industry. Not too long ago, I made a video playing Titanfall 1 in 2024, and basically my conclusion was that that game was still fun to play. Well, this game is probably even better to play because it has a much stronger player base, and it's a lot easier to obtain in 2024 because Titanfall 1, as you guys may know, got delisted from Steam and from all the stores. They even took it away from Game Pass and EA Play. So Titanfall 2 is definitely a better experience to have of the two Titanfall games. And of course, if you're on PlayStation, this is the only Titanfall game you can play. I would say the core gameplay is improved upon compared to Titanfall 1, like adding the sliding and just improving upon the movement system that kind of made Titanfall stand out in the first place. I would give the map design and the Titan gameplay an edge in Titanfall 1, but Titanfall 2, playing as a pilot, is 100% better. The game is best played on PC with keyboard and mouse because I feel like it just complements the movement style of the game so well, but you can't go wrong with PlayStation or Xbox either. There's people who play on all platforms no matter what, so you're good to go no matter which platform you choose to play on. One thing I will say that sucks about playing these older titles before crossplay was a thing is that, yeah, you can't play with your friends. Like, if you're on PC but your friends play on PlayStation and Xbox, you gotta play some other game together because Titanfall 2 is not gonna be that game, unfortunately. I know how much many people care about being able to play with their friends and not just playing by themselves or with random people, so that might be a huge turnoff for a lot of you guys watching this video. But I would say the Titanfall community, regardless of which platform you're on, there are a bunch of really cool people over there, and I think you'll get along with them pretty good. Of course, there's gonna be, like, some toxicity, but that's with any game. For the most part, though, they're pretty chill and respectable people. They do play pretty hard, though. They're moving around like I've never seen before, and I just, like, I'm very intimidated by a lot of the people playing this game just because of how talented they are and how they're really, really, really good and have such a high skill level. So if you come in as a new player, you're gonna have some competition. There's no skill-based matchmaking. There's no bullshit to hold your hand, for people who are new because it's an old game and it didn't even have that stuff back then anyway. And those who are still playing, most of them are pretty hardcore, dedicated Titanfall fans, although there are a lot of newer people that play. The veterans are really the people who keep this game alive, and yeah, so just be careful. Like, don't give up on the game too quickly. Don't be like, oh my god, I just can never be good. Like, just give it time. And I'm not someone who's really that good at the game myself, I'll be honest, and you could tell by the gameplay, but, I think if you give it a few games and you put some hours into it, eventually you'll get better and better and better, and you'll enjoy the game a lot more. It can't hurt to try, especially if you have Game Pass Ultimate or EA Play, because the game is included as part of that subscription. But otherwise, the game goes on sale pretty often on Steam, and you can get it for really, really cheap. And despite being almost a decade old at this point, it still holds up very, very well because of just how so far ahead of its time that it was back in 2016. With the movement system and even the graphics and everything. It feels like a game that could have been released last week. Maybe not so much if you're playing like on PS5 through backwards compatibility, then obviously it's going to be running on PS4 graphics because it was never like enhanced for the new consoles, but especially like on PC, if you max that shit out, ooh, it looks really, really, really good. I think if they just pushed the game back a few months to like spring 2017, it would have been huge. It really would have, because, you know, going up against Call of Duty and Battlefield was never going to work out for them. And I myself didn't start playing this game until years later. I think the first time I ever played Titanfall 2 was like 2020. So, yeah, years after the game came out, because, you know, there were so many other games to play back then, and it just kind of flew under my radar. And I'm really glad I eventually did give it a chance, because it is one of my favorite FPS games released over the past 10 years, and it's not even close. Like, it's that amazing. It also has one of the best single-player campaigns of an FPS game released over the past decade, and it's very underrated. I mean, a lot of people talk about how great it is, but compared to multiplayer, with these types of games, the single-player always kind of just gets brushed to the side, and the multiplayer gets all the focus, obviously, because that's where, like, the game is going to get... It's going to keep going for years and years and years and years and years and make most of its money, but yeah, it's worth mentioning the single player is also a really good experience, so if you're not really much of an online guy, then this game is still a really good value for you. And yeah, so that's Titanfall 2 in 2024. If I made this video last year, it would be a completely different video, because just, you know, within the past year, it has improved so much with getting rid of the hackers and everything that I can recommend this game and not even hesitate. Like, definitely play this. You will not regret it. You'll have a lot of fun with this one.